This video will break down the attachment, structure, and function of the Quadratus Lumborum, commonly known as a QL. The Quadratus Lumborum originates from the iliac crest and inserts on the transverse process of lumbar 1 through 5 in the lower part of the 12th rib. This muscle is a lumbar extensor, stabilizer, and lateral tilter. One interesting fact is that the QL creates an antagonist force against the abdominal muscles. Moving into strengthening exercises targeting the QL, we have exercise 1, the QL hip hike. The main joint action of this movement is lateral flexion of the lumbar spine. You can perform this movement by standing with one foot on an elevated surface, allow your hanging foot's hip to drop, and engage your QL to raise your hip back to that starting position. It's suggested to repeat this movement 10 to 12 times on each side. Moving on to exercise 2 for strengthening, we have the side plank. The primary joint action of the side plank is lateral flexion of the spine as well. To perform this exercise, lie on your side with your elbow directly under your shoulder. Stack your legs on top of each other, and then proceed to engage your core and lift your hips off of the ground, creating a straight line from head to toe. It's recommended to hold this position for 20 to 30 seconds on each side. Lastly, a great strengthening exercise for not only the QL but also the glutes and hamstrings is a deadlift. The primary joint action of this movement is a hip extension. To perform the deadlift, stand with your feet hip-width apart and bend down to grab the barbell with an overhand grip. Lift the weight up towards your hips, keeping your back straight throughout the movement. Transitioning into stretching, this stretch combines elongation and strengthening for a balanced approach. And the primary joint actions are lateral flexion and extension of the spine. To begin, stand with your feet hip-width apart and hands on your hips. Slowly bend to one side, stretching the QL on the opposite side. Return to your starting position and then bend to the same side, engaging the QL to pull your torso upright. Lastly, we have the seated QL stretch. Lengthening the QL via lateral flexion, you can begin this exercise by sitting cross-legged on the floor. Then, use your left hand to push down your right knee and reach over towards the left side with your right arm, and feel the stretch on the right side of your lower back. You can repeat this for the opposite hands and sides.